had a conversation with a woman who I did ask permission to share this, who hired me to do some mentoring. And she was supporting a woman and lost track of her. This woman had a very, very difficult life. She was a refugee. She was in an abusive relationship. She had a bunch of health issues having to do with like sexually transmitted diseases. Her life was difficult. And this midwife was there and was supporting her postpartum and was there holding the baby and connecting with the baby many weeks after the delivery. And then lost touch with this mom and found out later that the mom had killed her own baby. She was having a lot of grief, this midwife, around not having done enough to save this baby. And that was the conversation that we had. I know that those stories are not easy to listen to. And I know we'd love to always talk about the feel good stories. But I think it's also important for us to know that when we have these difficult life experiences, that it gives us the capacity, especially as birth workers or people who are in service, to be able to really have compassion and the ability to hold these really difficult conversations for people and give space to a dialogue that maybe they don't feel like they can talk to everybody about, that they're holding on to within themselves.
What you're doing is so necessary, and I don't know anyone who could do it better than you. Wouldn't the world be a better place if we had the time and space for everyone to have some sort of access like this? Would we have such mean things going on at the hospital? Or would we have neighbors fighting with neighbors? Or would we have family members ghosting other family members over silly things like politics? What you're doing for these mentees, well, there's no price you can put upon it.
And for the families, I had a mom come in yesterday who had sexual abuse. She was, multiple times in her life and had addiction issues and, all of this stuff. And her husband didn't want to make the drive because they live about an hour and a half from me. And she made a decision already that it was worth to drive to me because she knows the work that I do. And after he sat with us for a while, she's like, I don't want to go and interview other midwives. I don't want to go and tell my story again. This feels right for me, and he got it. She's like, pay her. we're gonna drive here. This is worth it for me. And I understood that as someone who's lived through trauma. Like once you find somebody that you feel safe with, that you can share your whole self, you're right. That is invaluable, And so it's not just for the birth workers, it's also for the families. We're all going through a lot of trauma. So having people that can hold space for our true heart and our true feelings about what's going on, the light and the dark. We have to be able to there is something available when we are able to hold space for all of it.